This video shows how the learning process for anatomy or neurobiology have changed with the advent of various computer-based simulations and AI integration into the study processes. So like this, assessment strategies can be thought of which can serve the future where students are becoming increasingly AI enhanced and AI natives. So the portfolios need not always be in the written way in which we are conducting the exams nowadays. Day-to-day learning processes has increased and they are more dependent on AI-based text generations rather than textbooks. So I start with the words of Mr. Seth Godin. He is the most prolific writer nowadays and a well-sought speaker all over the globe. The sooner we realize that the world has changed, the sooner we can accept it and make something of what we have got. Whining isn't a scalable solution. I will start with a case study from biology regarding how teaching learning process have changed over the time and how this AI challenge can be faced similarly. So now earlier we used to see students in crossroads and teachers trying to guide them. Now, because of all these AI and too many numerous exams with different objectives, both the teachers and students are at crossroads. Both do not know where to go and which point is the correct point of direction. So in earlier days, animal experimentation is a very important process, a very important practical, which every biology student happen to do at school level with some organisms, and at higher education level, a lot of invertebrata and vertebrata organisms. They used to dissect to get a complete knowledge about the biological functioning, morphology, and other features of the organisms. But in 2011, the UGC gave a complete ban at the undergraduate level, and later at 2011, they banned the dissection of organisms for educational purposes across India. So they gave 4 R's as the main important pivotal points behind this ban. A reduction in usage of experimental animals and refinement of processes reducing the pain which the animal undergoes, the refinement of the way in which the animals are reared, like that. So replacement of animal-based experiments when and where possible with cell lines or in silico based computer simulations, like that replacements, and following the rules put forward by the organizations like UGC and other organizations, following it in ethical manner, that is responsibility. So UGC imposed this ban, right, blanket ban from 2014 for all sorts of courses in India. So these courses comes under the provisions of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Acts, and other acts also come into way for these rules. And those institutions which has, for example, some medical institutions are there, some pharmacy-based institutions are there. For them, dissection on some animals is unavoidable. So for them, they have to set up a committee for the purpose of control and supervision of experiments on animals. Like this, several guidelines were given by the UGC. So the teaching process from live dissections got transformed into virtual dissection simulations, 3D based models, mannequins and plastinated specimens, videos, slides, charts, etc. So with these kind of changes in teaching process, The controversies, ethical controversies associated with the dissection was overcome without compromising the student learning process. So I like to give a small video in which nowadays people are just a 1 minute video. I'll skip quickly. This video shows how the learning process for anatomy or neurobiology have changed with the advent of various computer-based simulations and AI integration into the study processes. So this is just a sample. I go further. So the question now comes up in our mind is it increasingly becoming like learning to drive a car just by reading the owner's manual or instruction manual, or is it becoming like learning to swim without diving into the water? So things are becoming like that, which needs wide introspection and discussion among the eminent educationists. So we should all accept the important point that the ways in which we learn has changed. And why should the assessment processes and assessment practices which we follow alone has to remain the same old archaic methods? So that also can be changed, but that is a dynamic oversight that cannot be brought into practice overnight or in a few days or a few months or a few years. But thought processes in these directions can be initiated so that it can be materialized in future. So the assessment philosophies are changing because of the integration of artificial intelligence into the minds and practice of the students. So AI should always be treated as a partner, but emphasis should be given on the students' reasoning ability, critic capacity, and decision making capacity. So the assessment strategies previously followed can be changed into real world tasks and contexts, performance based demonstrations, public associations, and with social responsibilities, podcasts, website based responses, discipline based tasks, the presentations, investigations, problem solving exercises, new methods of rubrics involving collaboration, decision making, everything into an integrated manner. So like this, assessment strategies can be thought of which can serve the future where students are becoming increasingly AI enhanced and AI natives. So the portfolios need not always be in the written way in which we are conducting the exams nowadays. So the written component can also be there. Along with it, podcasts, demos, tutorials, visuals, infographics, storyboards, posters, interactive prototypes, small simulations, mock-up exercises, and pitches which can earn fundings, performances. All these can be made integral part of assessment processes. So that the AI knowledge and their AI engagement can also be tapped and assessed. So this is metacognitive assessment in which the student is made to declare whatever prompt he has used for generating the task which we give.